This
is
who
made
who
and
you
and
you
and
you
and
you are,
so beautiful.
and you're listening to Bedroomdisco TV.
Good morning. This is the story of WhoMadeWho. 6 years ago in Copenhagen, in the winter, I got an email from my friend Jeppe Kjellberg, with whom I've been studying in the musical conservatory. He said, would you like to meet me in the studio with my other friend Thomas and make some funky schnitz? Actually, those were the words. I said, hell yeah. And we went out there one Monday evening and we had a jam session for 1 hour where we recorded a lot of stuff. And the week after, we edited into 3 songs. That we sent to 5 different labels, including Gomme. And Gomme returned right away, said, yeah, guys, this is funky schnitz. And we made a label deal with them. And actually, the first album was recorded a lot of Monday evenings, apart from one weekend where we went to the Western Sea of Denmark, in the dunes, the sand dunes, in Tomboy's grandfather's summer house, where we recorded a lot of the tracks that's on the first album. And it was actually meant just for fun. It still is fun, but now it's our full-time job. It's just evolved slowly over the years. So here we are in Wiesbaden, ready to kick your ass. Yeah! On the first album, we just met up and jammed some groovy stuff and sang some melodies on top. And it's been obvious since then that to do the same thing over and over again would be so boring for us and for our audience. So we always try to move on to different places. And right now we are actually finishing off the recordings of our third real album. And it's really hard work just to finish it off, because how do we navigate? What kind of music do we make? What kind of melodies? How do we renew ourselves without losing our sound? How far can we push it? I think on the second album, The Plot, we had this vision of making a super eclectic album. And I think maybe now, when you look upon it, it was maybe a confused album somehow. I think there were some good tracks, but it was very confusing. This third album we're trying to make more focused. And it's hard work. I think it's a good thing that it's that way, but it's very different from the first. The first one was just playful. Yeah, let's go at it. And these days, not to repeat ourselves, we really have to work hard, I think.
The first album was very handheld, but still very electronic, very based on the rhythm and the drums. So it was just a acoustic interpretation of electronic music. Then The Plot was more inspired of loads of genres. So if that's electronic, called electronic, I don't know. I think the new album we're making right now will be, I guess, more focused in an electronic way. So that's where we are at this moment.
And I also think the fact that when we begun, at least me, I didn't know shit about electronic music. I was a rock and roll guy with my bass guitar and my old Fender amp. And Jeppe, you listen to electronic music more, I guess, but you are more into the experimental avant-garde field. So I think the difference is that in the beginning, Tomboy, he only knew the blip blop stuff, to be very square, and we were just rock hippies. And now I think we're learning a lot more electronic music, and when we do music ourselves, we also use programming a lot. So in that way, maybe it's more electronic than it was in the beginning. But then again, Tomboy, who used to just want blip blop, now he's, we have to make a evergreen song. So I think it's changing all the time in the band.
A point is also that you're saying is that we inspire each other very much, so that in the beginning Tomboy was very blip blop, and now he wants to make an evergreen, and you were very rock, and now you want to make a techno, more techno thing. So we are really pushing each other in different directions, which is a big strength, I think. I think for people producing music, trying to express themselves through music, everything you try to capture in yourself, like the world you're living in, the vibe of the surroundings you are in, and like the whole mood of the society, or even, I mean, also loads of music, paintings. I mean, we try to breathe in as much as possible, and then we try to put it into this format who is like, this is our little cell where we can express ourselves and our feelings, and it's difficult to say what specifically inspires us, because it's so many different things. It's really loads of stuff.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think you're always getting inspired from the music you hear when you're traveling and flying around. And I have this problem that several times a day I listen to some album and I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. I really want some of this in our music. And this is so much different stuff. So it's really, I think the inspiration part is very much for me about cutting things away, saying, okay, I want to do this, and this, but on this album we'll do this and this. So it's not too confusing, because I think we all three of us, we are great music lovers, and it's not cut down to one single genre. I just listened to Bright Eyes the other days. I was sitting in the plane, and you know, when you're tired and hungover, I was wearing my sunglasses, and I was crying. So sad song. And you know, I thought, oh, that's amazing. I want WhoMadeWho to contain this as well. And you just get all these experiences and listen to some minimalness. You're saying, whoa, this is the thing. This is the tribal. This is music like it's been for millions of years. And you want to do that as well. So I think you just get so many inputs and you get so excited about all this stuff. So inspiration is a lot about trying to focus what you're going to do and what you're not going to do.
We like to dress up because it inspires us to wear some really freaky stuff. So we've been doing that so much during our whole career. And it's always been fun to overdress your crowd. I mean, if you're playing for a super fashion crowd, then you have to be really either crazy or weird because you can't top the fashion people. So we had to really do some freaky stuff instead. And it also inspires us on stage to do stuff, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think it liberates us and it liberates our crowd, you might say. If I'm standing in a fucking skeleton costume, people say, hey, what the fuck? Let's go crazy. And also for me, for us, I think we enter a role somehow when you get on stage. So you can say, yeah, Wiesbaden, we'll rock you up without feeling like an idiot because you're already dressed up like an idiot. It's a long time since I made the album. I actually made it before starting on this album. I just did it for fun, basically. I used to have another band before WhoMadeWho, where I was kind of just doing my own stuff. And that band stopped, so I felt like I wanted another place just to hang out with myself and record for myself when I didn't do WhoMadeWho. So that's basically it. The live set is very different from WhoMadeWho. It's very electronic and me singing all the time. But Jeppe hates the fact that I'm fucking around. So, so I'm having another lady. And she's very sexy, so that's one other question Jeppe don't want to answer. Buy the album. It's very good.
Now we played that 3 times this year, last year, and then 4 years ago or something. And it's always been really, really inspiring for us to be there because it's got this Berlin-esque vibe to it, and people are really going for totally involved in our energy. So for us, it's like the perfect place to be at a festival. And when they asked us to do the hymn, it was just an honor. So it was a challenge also to do a hymn because it's really difficult to do a hymn. But we tried to do it, and in its own way, it has its own charm, I think.
We're actually getting this hymn band these days. We also went to Burma to record a track together with Burmese freedom fighters. To kind of help them raise their voice and maybe people buy the single and make them some money. So that's actually 2 times this year where we, made a song for a specific purpose. And that's very hard, actually. It's very hard to take this folkloristic thing, to work it into our, chilled Scandinavian cool electro. But I think it worked out somehow.
I think it was I think it was also very inspiring for us to do like, this is some people, they really, really want to liberate themselves. They want to have an election. They want to have a society like we have in the northern part of Europe. So it was like having a cause like political for once was really also a challenge. And very exciting too, because these people are really, they wanted to do something with the music. It was very important in their own very laid back way.
Yeah, because doing our job, it's it's very self-absorbent and self-absorbed, and you just feel like you're look at me, listen to me. You do those interviews all the time, and it's part of the job. You have to do it, so it's nice every now and then to do something where you are not as important and you actually do something for other people. I actually, I know it's very middle of the road, but Gorillaz, I think it's very, very good. I think the Stylo single inspired me a lot.
Yeah, and I think we also have to mention the Arcade Fire new album. We have an ongoing discussion about that, but I really think that was a very, very good album. The new one, the Suburbia thing, like more rock. And then there's been so many. I think there's so much good music coming out this year. Where should we start?
This very exciting new artist called Bonhomme. He just now. This
is
who
made
who
welcome to
the
Bedroomdisco TV.
My
name
is
Dieter.
Und
Ich
Wunst
eine
Krautwurst
haben.
Geil. Tschüss. Det var lige den der seriøse linje, du godt kunne tænke dig lige.